The U.S. is still waiting for Iran to respond to President Trump's peace proposal as tensions continue in the Strait of Hormuz. The Secretary of State says diplomatic efforts are ongoing, even as military confrontations between U.S. and Iranian forces persist. WSAV Washington correspondent Kristen Eskow has the latest from the Capitol.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio had said he expected to receive a response Friday, but so far still no answer from Iran, even though we had heard one could have come as soon as Thursday.
The hope is it's something that it can put us into a serious process of negotiation.
During his trip to Italy, Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed the U.S. is still waiting for a response from Iran to its peace proposal. A source tells News Nation the 14-point plan would end the war and create a framework for talks on Iran's nuclear program.
It's more than a one-page offer. It's an offer that basically said they will not have nuclear weapons.
President Trump insisted Thursday night that the ceasefire is not over, despite fighting between the U.S. and Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command says 2 more Iranian oil tankers were disabled Friday as they attempted to violate the American blockade of Iranian ports.
I'll let you know when there's no cease. You won't have to know.
We're not going to let our ships get sunk by the Iranians with their little, their drones that they're firing.
With commercial ships still stuck in the strait, Rubio argues countries around the world need to stop Iran from setting a troubling precedent.
We've seen the reporting overnight that Iran has established or trying to establish some agency that's going to control traffic in the straits. That would be very problematic. That would actually be unacceptable.
Secretary Rubio and other U.S. officials are pushing for the United Nations Security Council to pass a resolution compelling Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, arguing Iran is violating international law. Kristen Eskow, News Nation, Washington.
Some new developments now in the Oglethorpe Mall shooting investigation. One of the 6 suspects connected to the 2025 shooting has now been sentenced in federal court. 21-year-old Ajuan Hyman will spend more than 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to illegal possession of a machine gun. Investigators say Hyman was found with a .40 caliber Glock modified with a switch after the shooting, but it's still not clear if that is the same weapon he allegedly used during the mall shootout. While this federal sentencing addresses the weapons charge, all 6 suspects in the case are still scheduled to stand trial before a Chatham County jury this September. We've been following this case from the beginning. To see our previous coverage, just go to wsav.com/mall shooting. A routine traffic stop on I-95 in Camden County led to the arrest of a murder suspect wanted out of Washington, D.C. The Camden County Sheriff's Office says a deputy was patrolling I-95 on April 27th when a license plate reader alert flagged a vehicle with expired registration. Investigators say the driver and front seat passenger were both in the country illegally. Deputies then learned the 3rd passenger, Jason Vasquez Pineda, was wanted for murder in D.C. He was arrested and booked into the Camden County Jail and is awaiting extradition. The other 2 occupants were taken into custody by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Some good news out of Brantley County. Highway 32 back open after a major wildfire burned more than 22,000 acres. Officials say the fire is now about 90% contained. The Sheriff's Office says around 300 personnel are still working in the area to fully secure the scene and monitor the hotspots. Drivers are still urged to use caution, slow down, stay alert for crews and heavy equipment, and be prepared for smoky conditions. After a stretch of extreme dry conditions that helped fuel wildfires, we're finally seeing a pattern shift heading into the weekend. In fact, it's raining right now in a lot of areas. Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Scott Roberts joins us now with what you can expect.
As far as the weekend, we do expect it to be rather stormy at times, and we even have the risk of strong and severe storms moving through. That's not the case for tonight. Viper radar now tracking just as we've been expecting some light to moderate rainfall across the region, generally moving from the west to the east. Some of that more moderate rain approaching 278 right now in Beaufort County, further to the south across Liberty County, Long County into Tattnall County. That's where we've had some of the steadier shower activity on and off over the past couple of hours, but more of that will be picking up overnight and especially through the day tomorrow and into Sunday. Scattered storms are expected, and that will continue into Monday with a 3rd round of storms. And there is the potential for a few isolated strong and severe storms setting up, but that overall risk is low. Breezy and gusty wind would be the main concern, but really the primary thing that we're going to be tracking is heavy rain on and off throughout Saturday and again Sunday afternoon and into the evening hours. Both days will warm into the lower to middle 80s for highs. Same thing for Monday, but then some cooler and drier weather returns for next week. We'll talk about that coming up.
We will see you then. Thank you. Our environmental impact report now. While that rain is welcome news for fire danger, experts say the aftermath of the fires may still be playing out for months to come. WSAV's Evan Smoke spoke with a local professor who breaks down what the landscape could look like next.
Dr. Georgianne Moore is a professor of biology at Georgia Southern University. She has experience investigating the relationship between drought and fires. As people return to their homes after recent wildfires here in Georgia, Moore offered this insight into what could be their next steps.
It depends on the land use. So if it's your personal property around your home and you're just used to trees for shade and for the aesthetics around your home, then you're going to be planting trees again that you want to grow rather fast and bring you back shade and some sense of cover. In other areas, these are pine farms and they'll be putting in plantation forestry again.
Moore says debris from previous storms as well as dry conditions helped fuel the fires.
It's very unfortunate that not too many months ago we had this major wind event from Hurricane Helene and a lot of trees and branches came down. That basically puts a lot more dead debris down at ground level to carry that fire through. And when the fire goes through those areas where there's a lot of debris, they're hotter and they're more likely to kill the trees.
Moore tells WSAV that even after all the wildfire fires have been extinguished, there is yet another risk: flooding.
There could be an increased risk of localized flooding in some of those little subwatersheds from lack of trees to drink the water and keep the water table lower. So that's something that I'm interested in.
Moore adds residents should be mindful of their activities like off-roading, as these vehicles could ignite dry debris. Reporting in Statesboro, Evan Smoke, WSAV News 3, on your side.
News around South Carolina now. Lawmakers exploring potential congressional redistricting ahead of the 2026 primary and general election. A House subcommittee met this morning to discuss early steps in redrawing district lines. Public testimony raised concerns about timing, including whether changes could impact the June 9th primary if ballots have already been cast. Lawmakers also considered holding congressional races in a special election on August 11th, a proposal that passed the subcommittee and now moves to the House Judiciary Committee.
If the ballots have to be revised, in other words, if congressional candidate names had to be removed from those ballots, or if we made a decision to move the date of the congressional election, what happens to the ballots that are being sent out now?
First of all the databases are done. Congressional candidates will appear on every ballot that is cast in June. The only thing we could do would be just to not report those numbers, but they're going to be on the ballot. There's no way around that.
No action was taken on a new map today by the House subcommittee, and officials are expected to continue discussion next week. Chatham Area Transit and Chatham County leaders are once again at odds over funding. During a heated workshop on Wednesday night, CAT leaders asked commissioners for more money through a property tax increase, while county officials raised concerns about service and accountability. WSAV's Isley Herschel has a closer look at the divide.
The tug of war between Chatham Area Transit and Chatham County commissioners continues. CAT is asking for more money from the county. The agency suggests property taxes might be the way to do that, but county commissioners aren't sold on the idea.
Please, sir, wait a minute, please. No, I'm not going to wait. But don't disrespect my CEO.
A tense 4-hour meeting Wednesday night between CAT and Chatham County.
A lot of the apprehensions that they had about some of our practices, they didn't agree with, and we, by us being a transparent organization, we had to answer those questions to the people who we are asking for funding from.
CAT is requesting a property tax increase of $1.2 million from Chatham County for the purchase of new buses and for employee pay raises.
It's not like we're asking people to vote on more money, it's just money that we're asking to be continued.
Chairman Chester Ellis with the county feels the services CAT promised to use their money for haven't been fully executed. Among other things, he says their para-bus service often doesn't show up to bring people to doctor's appointments when they need it.
There's a person who had a stroke, all right, was treated for the stroke, reversed the stroke, but needed to go to therapy. And here comes that 4 times. They did not send a van to take him to his therapy. He missed his therapy 4 times.
Because of these concerns, the Board of Commissioners and CAT leaders went back and forth.
We have to have a pay structure that mimic what we're doing and how we are stretching out into the county.
They will not get another dime until the service equals what we're paying for.
The county is going to pass their yearly budget by June 30th. Chairman Ellis says if it were up to him, CAT won't be getting any funding from the county. In Chatham County, Isley Herschel, WSAV News 3 on your side.